Hello everyone, in today's video we'll be checking out the BT-2 and its history. So here we go. The BT tanks. Bystrochodny tank, fast moving tank or high speed tank, were a series of Soviet light tanks produced in large numbers between 1932 and 1941. They were lightly armored but reasonably well armed for their time, and had the best mobility of all contemporary tanks. The BT tanks were known by the nickname Batka from the acronym or its diminutive Betyushka. The successor of the BT tanks would be the famous T-34 medium tank introduced in 1940, which would replace all of the Soviet fast tanks, infantry tanks and medium tanks in service. The design. The BT tanks were convertible tanks. This was a feature designed by J. Walter Christie to reduce wear of the unreliable tank tracks of the 1930s in about 30 minutes. The crew could remove the tracks and engage a chain drive to the rearmost road wheel on each side, allowing the tank to travel at very high speeds on roads. In wheeled mode, the tank was steered by pivoting the front road wheels. Soviet tank forces soon found the convertible option of little practical use. In a country with few paved roads, it consumed space and added needless complexity and weight. The feature was dropped from later Soviet designs. Christie, a race car mechanic and driver from New Jersey, has failed to convince the U.S. Army Ordnance Bureau to adopt his Christie tank design. In 1930, Soviet agents at Atmorg, ostensibly a Soviet trade organization, used their New York political contacts to persuade U.S. military and civilian officials to provide plans and specifications of the Christie tank to the Soviet Union. At least two of Christie's M1931 tanks without turrets were later purchased in the United States and sent to the Soviet Union under false documentation in which they were described as agricultural tractors. Both tanks were delivered to the Kharkov Comintern locomotive plant, or better known as KHPZ. The original Christie tanks were designed fast tanks by the Soviets. Abbreviated to BT, later referred as to BT-1, based both on them and on other plans obtained earlier. 3 unarmed BT-2 prototypes were completed in October 1931 and mass production began in 1932. Most BT-2s were equipped with a 37mm gun and a machine gun, but a shortage of 37mm guns led to some early examples being fitted with 3 machine guns. The sloping front hull, glacis plate, armor design of the Christie's M1931 prototype was retrained in later Soviet tanks' hull designs, later adopted for side armor as well. The BT-5 and later models were equipped with a 45mm gun. Combat history. BT tanks saw service in the Second Sino-Japanese War, Spanish Civil War, Battle of Khingal, the Winter War in Finland, the Polish Campaign, and in World War II. The Spanish Civil War. In the Spanish Civil War, a regiment of 50 BT-5s fought on the Republican side. They were manned by the members' international brigades trained in USSR and by some Soviet tankists. Their first combat on 13 October 1937 during the Zaragoza offensive was disastrous. 13 tanks were lost due to bad tactics. Later 12 were lost from December 1937 to February 1938 during Battle of Teruel. A few captured BT-5s were also used by nationalists. Chinese service. The Chinese Nationalist Army also had 4 BT-5s, and they fought against the Japanese Imperial Army during the Second Sino-Japanese War, World War II in East Asia. During the Battle of Kaikhan Gol, also known as the Nomihan Incident, sorry, which lasted from May to September in 1939, BT tanks were easily attacked by Japanese close-quarter teams, tank killer squads, which were in lieu of anti-tank weapons armed with petrol bottles, later called Molotov cocktails. The Soviet BT-5 and BT-7 light tanks, which had been operating in the temperatures greater than 100 Fahrenheit on the Mongolian plains, easily caught fire when a Molotov cocktail ignited with their gasoline engines. General Georgy Zhukov made it one of his points when briefing Joseph Stalin that his BT tanks were a bit fire-prone. Conversely, many Japanese tank crews held the Soviet 45mm anti-tank guns in high esteem. No sooner did they see the flash from a Russian gun than they'd notice a hole in their tank, adding that the Soviet gunners were accurate too. After the Kaikhan Gol War in 1939, the Soviet military had broken into 2 camps. One side was represented by the Spanish Civil War veterans General Pavel Rychikagov of the Soviet Air Force, Soviet armored expert General Dmitry Pavlov, and Stalin's favorite Marshal Grigory Kulk, Chief of Artillery Administration. The other side consisted of the Kaikhan Gol veterans led by Zhukov and Grigory Kravchenko of the Soviet Air Force. The lessons of Russia's first real war on a massive scale using tanks, artillery, and airplanes at Nomokhan Kaikhan Gol went unheeded. During the Finland War, Winter War, BT-2 and BT-5 tanks were less successful. During the final weeks of World War II, a significant number of BT-7 tanks took part in the Soviet invasion of Manchuria against the Japanese occupation in August 1945. This was the last combat action for the BT tanks. Technical legacy. The BT tank series was numerous, forming the cavalry tank arm of the Royal Red Army in the 1930s, and had much better mobility than other contemporary tank designs. For these reasons, there were many experiments and derivatives of the design, mostly conducted at the KHPZ factory in Kharkov. The most important legacy of the BT tanks was the T-34 medium tank. In 1937, a new design team was formed at the KHPZ to create the new generation of BT tanks. Initially, the chief designer was Mikhail Koskhin, and after his death, Morozov. The team built 2 prototypes. The light one was called the A-20, the more heavily armed and armored BT derivative. The A-32 was a universal tank to replace all the T-26 infantry tanks, BT cavalry tanks, and T-28 medium tanks. Such a plan was controversial, but concerns about the tank performance under the threat of the German Blitzkrieg led to the approval of production of a still more heavily armored version, the T-32 medium tank. And that should do it for the history part. Okay, so we're on the gameplay part, and I hope you enjoyed the history part. I think I'll be doing those history parts every time for every tank, because I think not a lot of us really wanna read or go on Wikipedia. Oh look, I mean it's another tank. Who would wanna read uh, too much about the tank or how it was used in real war? So yeah, I'll be doing that for you. So if you enjoy that kind of content, you can tell me. If you are not, I will be just throwing it out uh, on the street alone and, well, useless. So yeah, and I'll be doing my old regular how can I say, ways of doing gameplay and showcases of um, tanks. Yeah, so this is the gameplay of the BT-2, and the tank is pretty good. I gotta say, it was super good. It took me 7 battles to finish it, and I didn't even have the crew on 100% with this tank. The crew was 80 or 90. So yeah, 7 battles and not a full crew, or better said, not a 100% crew. So it's good. The tank is good. I gotta say, it's fast. It's mobile. It has a good gun. The good gun, or you could say DPM. So yeah, I don't know why, but it seems I always go on these maps. And before I forget this, I'm kind of sorry about the history part. So some of the words I can't pronounce because English is not my how do you say, my first language that I learned. So yeah, it was a little bit hard for me, but even some of the English people, I can imagine, could not, well, say those words because they were Russian or Chinese or however you want to call them. So yeah, at the BT, as you can see there, did I did 2 shots, and it's gonna be the 3rd one. That's 1 kill. And now we're gonna be up. I just wanted to move away, but there's another guy. So I auto-aimed, and first of all, I don't know why, I really wish I really wish you asked me questions, if you have any, if you're starting to play the game, if you have anything you want to know about the game, please tell me. I will be doing my best to explain it. As you can see here, this is a new account, right? Everyone has heard of Smurfs, people who play the game over and over until they get better and destroy people who play casually. So if you're somebody who wants to graduate from casual to a Smurf or a better player, you can ask me anything. I will try my best. After all, I did play this game 4 or 5 years, so if there's something, there is knowledge I can share with you. And let me get back on the topic. That is, as you can I did there was right click and it's an auto aim. I would recommend to never use that. Never. Only if you're flanking an enemy. Only then. But even then it's not recommended. Auto aiming is, if you ask me, is not good. You're gonna be missing a lot of shots. You won't be shooting where you wanna shoot. And yeah, that's gonna be fucking you over in later tiers like tier 7 or 8, where tanks even have sloped sides, so like Russians for instance. So yeah, I would not recommend using auto aim for anything. If you use auto aim all the time, well, I'm sorry to say, you're not gonna be advancing as fast as other guys who are just shooting normally. So there's also something, if you want to improve, that's using your shift, not your scroll. If you use your shift, you will be much faster at entering sniper mode than using your scroll. So that's something you need to remember, because that's also gonna help you. So yeah, just like I said, there's a lot of tips I can tell you, show you, and yeah. What I think I won't be doing is telling you, oh look, this part I did this. I mean, I did that in the last or 2 last videos with MS1 and this. So yeah, I'm not somebody who's gonna be telling, oh look, I did this because of this. It doesn't really matter at the end. It all depends. If you ask me, there's a lot of huge YouTubers who say, oh, it's because this I see them on the other side of the map because I need to rotate or something like that. No, I will tell you just this. If you listen like that and oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, no, you're not gonna do the same. Never in your whole life will that information help you. Almost never. So you need to understand that that won't help you. You need, well, you need to find out yourself. You can't you can't listen to people saying, oh look, I did this in this part or this on this part. You need to be very okay. There's some stuff people can tell you and it explains a lot and helps you with the thinking, but at the end uh, it's you who's gonna be controlling that tank, going 1v5, 1v6, 1v9, or 2v9, 5v5, or 1v1 close battles. At the start you'll think, oh, that's yeah, but this game for me is not like any other game. It really rushes that adrenaline in your veins, and you start to lose focus, and yeah, and all of those words that people tell you, oh, you need to do this and that, it won't help you. If you yourself at that moment don't calm down and think rationally, you're doomed. You're gonna lose all of those Kolobanov medals that you told your friends you're gonna be getting. You're gonna be getting nothing. So remember that. Stay calm and stay positive about your team's losing. Doesn't matter. You can scream a little. You can be like, "Oh, fuck you," or you know what I mean. I'm trying to stay family friendly still. So yeah, that does it for the gameplay. I'm gonna be moving to the post stats, and I hope you understand everything I told you just right now. So yeah. Okay, so these are the better results, and as you can see, it's all standard. The master is there, the victory is there, and the tanks I destroyed or damaged were there. So let's move on to the next screen. Oh, okay. As you can see here, nobody came even close to doing the damage as I did that game. As you can see, that was a hard carry from my side. I can't say I'm the best at doing what I do, but what I can say is if you try your best, you're gonna do your best. It's easy. It's easy and simple. If you give up at the start, you ain't gonna do jack shit, but if you try, if you think you know what you're doing, then yeah, you might end up like that guy beneath me, that M2 Light, or that Alterer Lake Tractor at the other side. But still, if you never give up, even it doesn't matter how much health you have, as long as you know how to rationally position yourself where you think you're gonna do the most damage, or where you think you're gonna be of the most use to your team, then yeah, go for it. Even if it failed sometimes, still do it. I recommend it. And this is the statistics. Sorry about that. So 31 shots fired, 22 were direct hits, and 19 penetrations. And I received 13 hits, which of these were 5 penetrations and 8 non-penetrations. So yeah, as you can see, not a lot of money was earned there because it's a tier 2, and you won't be getting that much money anyways in later tiers. The only ones that I can say you're gonna be earning money with is premium tanks, and maybe some missions you're gonna be getting from the game, and that's about it. So yeah, that does it for this video. If you liked it, please tell me, and if you wanna watch what I do or follow what I do, you can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitch. I don't know from which country you are, but well, I'll be trying to hit up that time when people might be still watching, or better said, not sleeping. So yeah, uh, I hope you like it, and if you really liked it, I hope you subscribe to the channel. I'm new to all this. I would always recommend uh, people to tell me openly what they don't like about the channel, if there's something I can fix. So yeah, I'll be telling this almost for every video because I really want your attention. I really want you to listen and tell me what you think about and how I should do stuff on the channel. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.